Welcome to Trauma Bay. People believe things, often strange things. But what makes a belief strange isn't just that it sounds odd to outsiders. It's that millions, sometimes billions of people are willing to shape their entire lives around things that, if presented in any other context, would be laughed at or ignored. Let's start with the idea of sacred underwear. In some belief systems, undergarments are considered protective shields against evil. Not metaphorically, literally. They are thought to offer spiritual defense, as if invisible forces of evil will suddenly pause and say, "Wait, he's got the right briefs on. Let's move on." In any other setting, this would sound like a child's magical thinking. But when wrapped in the word faith, it becomes acceptable, even revered. Then there's the belief that a cracker can turn into the flesh of a man who lived thousands of years ago, and that consuming it connects you to divinity. That this transformation happens during a ceremony, though it still tastes and looks like a cracker, goes unquestioned by millions. And those who say otherwise? They're considered the odd ones. If a person today said their snack was literally the reincarnation of a historical figure's body, they'd be sent for an evaluation. But in religion, it's tradition. Some belief systems hold that the earth is just a test, a trial zone, that you're born into a world filled with suffering, where natural disasters wipe out entire villages, children die of disease, and cruelty seems endless. But that's fine, because you're being watched, judged, and your reward, or punishment, comes later, after you're dead. You won't see it. You won't hear it. But trust that it's there. Just do what the book says. Don't ask too many questions. Others believe that the world was created just a few thousand years ago. Despite mountains of geological, biological, and astronomical evidence showing otherwise, this view persists. Fossils are dismissed as tests of faith. Dinosaur bones? Planted. Carbon dating? Flawed. The night sky that shows galaxies billions of light years away? Some say it's just decorative, a backdrop, like a theater set, there to impress but not to be taken seriously. There's also the belief that certain foods are forbidden, not because they're harmful or because of allergies, but because a deity is personally offended by them. A sandwich with the wrong ingredients can become a moral issue. Shrimp isn't just seafood. It's a sin, a glass of wine, a gateway to damnation. It's not about moderation, it's about obedience. And if a rule seems random, all the better. It becomes a test of loyalty. The less sense it makes, the more virtuous it is to follow. Some people believe that women are spiritually inferior, that their natural biology makes them impure for certain periods, or unfit for leadership. That their voices shouldn't be heard in certain buildings, that their role is secondary by design. And this isn't just tradition, it's written into doctrine, defended with sacred texts, and enforced in the name of holiness. There are people who think the afterlife includes 72 virgins waiting as a reward, not symbolically, literally. That somewhere beyond the clouds, there are women, eternal, untouched, ready to serve men who died for the right cause. The logistics of it are never questioned. The morality even less so. It's framed as spiritual victory. In some religions, cows are sacred, not just respected, divine. They wander city streets freely. People go hungry while food is left for the cow. To challenge this belief is to insult an entire worldview. Even when it collides with modern needs, even when it causes practical problems, the idea of the cow being holy overrides it all. The sacred trumps the sensible. There are sects where people believe that chanting the same word over and over again brings them closer to truth, or spinning wheels with prayers written on them sends those prayers into the universe, like a spiritual broadcast tower. The more spins, the more messages are sent. It's mechanical spirituality, quantity over quality. You can outsource devotion by hiring others to do the spinning for you. Others believe that the body is evil, that pleasure is wrong, that guilt should follow you into every room, every thought, that even thinking about sex is sinful, that curiosity is a trap, that desire must be strangled at the root, and so people grow up ashamed of their instincts, disconnected from their bodies, controlled by rules that punish the most human parts of themselves. There are people who throw babies into the air in rituals, not symbolically, physically, believing that it will bless them. Others walk on fire, pierce themselves with hooks, or starve for weeks, thinking it purifies them. Pain becomes proof of belief. The more it hurts, the more it must mean something. Suffering becomes sacred. Then there's the belief in talking animals, snakes that speak, donkeys that deliver divine messages, burning bushes that communicate complex commandments. These aren't metaphorical. In many traditions, they're taken as literal events, historical facts. No matter how implausible, they're protected by faith. People believe in chosen lands, that one piece of earth is more holy than the rest, that wars, borders, and bloodshed are justified because that land was promised, even if others already lived there, even if generations pass in violence. The divine claim overrides the human cost. Some follow strict codes on clothing, not for fashion or comfort, but for purity. Hair must be hidden, skin must be covered, not because it's cold, but because exposure is shameful. And those who don't comply, they're blamed for tempting others, as if human self-control is powerless in the face of an elbow or a strand of hair. People pour money into temples made of gold while walking past beggars on the way in. They pray in front of statues that they then cover with food, flowers, and ornaments, even though they believe their God is invisible, all-powerful, and not made of stone. Somehow, the ritual feels more real than the belief behind it. There are beliefs that water, blessed by a cleric, can cure diseases, that touching relics can erase sins, that chanting a phrase enough times can bend reality, and that if your prayers aren't answered, it's your fault for not believing hard enough. The burden is always on the believer, never the belief. In some cultures, people mutilate their children in the name of faith, cut parts of their bodies without consent, claiming it brings them closer to God. Not because the child chose it, but because tradition demands it, because it's always been done, because questioning it would mean breaking a chain that's been passed down for centuries. Some believe that their religion is the only path, that everyone else is wrong, not just different, wrong, doomed, and they must be saved, converted, or destroyed. This belief turns compassion into conquest, friendship into a mission. It creates division where none is needed. Others believe the world will end soon, that it's all going to be destroyed, that a final war or judgment or reckoning is just around the corner, and so they stop planning for the future. They stop caring about the planet. Why build when the end is near? Why care for others when they might be on the wrong side of judgment? There are people who drink poison, handle snakes, or speak in tongues, believing these acts prove their faith, that by putting themselves in danger, or by losing control, they show that they're chosen. That chaos equals closeness to the divine. Many of these beliefs persist not because they make sense, but because they're introduced early. To children, before critical thinking develops, before skepticism is allowed. By the time doubts arrive, they're already buried under layers of guilt, fear, and community pressure. Belief becomes identity. Questioning it feels like betrayal. People protect absurd ideas not because they're convinced by the logic, but because they're afraid of what life would look like without them. And yet, the moment you take a step back, just one, and ask, if this idea were presented to me today, without the costume of tradition, without the weight of culture, would I still believe it? That's when clarity begins. Not all beliefs are harmful. But when belief demands you silence your questions, reject evidence, fear difference, and accept suffering without protest, that's not spiritual. That's control. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. You begin to notice how many absurdities we've normalized, how much power we've given to the ridiculous. And you realize, maybe the strangest thing isn't that these beliefs exist, but that they're still taken seriously.